So today we're going to have a look at my export manager tool. And an export manager is one of the most important tools that you're going to have in an asset management system, because it gets 3D content into Engine. And how I put that together was I put together this wireframe design, how to think about the processes, what I need to go through to get it working, and what the user experience might be like, that I could build my actual UI and attach the functionality to get it all working. So let's see what we've got. So here's my manager here, and the first thing I've got to do is set the project. So it's got to go to a compliant project, and by compliant project what I mean is a project like this, because right at the top of the project, in the project folder, we've got this .ams file, and that's an important key file which gives us what I call a project definition. It's a custom class that gets searched for by this tool. And when we set the project, if we set it to this animation sandbox project, it finds that .ams node, and it loads all the project information, so it knows where the source art folders are, and it knows where to export to, and it knows what engine that it's dealing with, so it can deal with any naming conventions that are required for that engine. So that's what the project definition is for. So as you can see, we've got our list of all the assets that it's found in the source art folder, and this one's green, and this one's green because it's exported. So if I right click here, we can have a look and see that we've got our FBX file. So that's why we're getting basically informed by the tool that this one's exported, and we can open this scene anyway, so we're going to update it and re-export it. We can use the tool to open the assets, so it's essentially an asset browser. So this has been exported by the tool. I could re-export it again by clicking this button here, but I won't do that because we're gonna have a go exporting another scene that's got some animation in. So here's this is my other model. This model has found some animations, and it recognizes the animations because what we've got here is a naming convention. So the main .mb file that's got the same name as the folder, that's the main rig file, and the animations are the my binary scenes that have got underscore and the name of the animation, and that's the naming convention whereby we can recognize what is our rig and what is our animation. So let's go ahead and open up the clairee rig. Yeah, and so what we've got here, we've got our basic rig, and we're just going to export it now. So if I export that, we get a progress bar just to tell us that the tool's busy while it goes through the export. And I suppose what that's doing is it's sending the FBX to the folder that's defined for it by the project definition, and it's also exporting metadata. So that's exported now. You can see that the status of this has turned to green, and it's exported the deformation system and the geometry, because when we send off the animations, we're just going to send off the deformation system. We don't need the geometry as well. So let's have a look at that metadata that's generated. So here's the metadata, and it's got that project information you recognise from the top of the tool. Tells us it's a character, and this is the information for everything inside the clairee folder essentially. So what we've got here is it's saying there aren't any animations because this is a list of animations that have been exported. So nothing's been exported yet, but what we've got here is a rig hash, and that's really important because that tells us that the skeleton in the rig file that we just exported, what it does, it analyzes the structure, the hierarchy, looks at all the names of the bones, and generates a hash string from that. So that because the animations have got to have the same skeleton, and essentially we can check that rig hash to make sure that we're exporting animations that are going to work because that they map to the same skeleton, and that's why we have an animation list. So let's go to the next step here, and you'll see what I mean. So I'm just going to open up this run animation. So that should open quite soon. There we go. So if you just press play, you can see it's like really basic run. These are just like sort of a quick demo animations I created from the demo material in the advanced skeleton tool, and really handy. I'm not an animator, I'm not rigger, so this is a great tool for like sort of helping someone like me just get the content that I need to demo a tool like this. So and develop a tool like this, debug it. So that's great. And so when we export to this run, we don't want to export the model, we just want to export the deformation system. So I'm just going to export this now. And when that export happens, we're going to check the hash data, and we're going to make sure that the hash matches the hash that's already saved in the metadata, and that enables the export to happen. So that's exported now. So let's have a look at the metadata. So the metadata is updated, and we've got our animation added. The clairee run, not the clairee walk yet, because as you can see, that's not yet done. So what we can do is we can look at the export process. It's a little bit different for the rig than it is for the animation. So essentially, when we export the rig, we've got to load the scene if it's not already loaded. We do asset validation, and there are important checks that we've got to do, like for instance things like polygon count, looking for manifold geometry, materials, naming conventions, rig compliance, things like that. If it fails the validation, the export gets aborted. If it passes, then we generate that hash. That's our rig hash, and we export the rig, and we send everything out to the metadata, and we make sure that everything gets checked into source control. Bit different with the animation export. It's just slightly similar, but we don't. But what we're actually going to do is we're going to check the hash and to make sure that it's the same hash as for the rig. And if it isn't, in the asset validation, that's one of the things that can make it fail amongst these other validation tests. But if it passes the validation, we can export the animation. We can update the animation hash dictionary, just as you saw then, and that gets saved out to the metadata, and then our export process is complete. So we just got one more animation to do, and that's this one here. So I've actually got, if you had a whole bunch of animations and you just wanted to fix them all, there's a batch button which just automatically opens up the scenes and exports them like one by one sequentially, so you don't have to essentially babysit the exports. So the export's happening at the moment, but because it's happening, the screen's still showing the last animation scene, and that refresh will happen when this is complete. There we go. So that is complete, and so that's our last animation. Yeah, so we can go over to Unity and have a look at our animations. Well, first, let's have a look at, here we go. Nope, and we're in Unity. Well, we found it. So I've just got an export scene here. And if I go into the models in this characters folder, so these are the animations that I've just sent out. You can see that's the model, and there isn't a model in these two animation files because when we exported the animation, you see there's just the deformation system selected, so it's not sending out the model, so there's just the skeleton there, and that's what we want. And to get that working, what it is, I created two different FBX presets, and this is essentially it's like a Python script that in the code it sets different values for when we're exporting the rig to when we're exporting the animation. Like for example, when we're exporting the rig, we turn off the animation sort of part of the export. So that ensures that we've got essentially different types of export for the different kinds of resource. Yeah, so we are going to go back to Unity, and so we'll bring our model into the scene. I'm just gonna reset the model. There we go. So there's our model, and as you can see, as part of the as part of the FBX preset, we had textures embedded, so we don't even need to set up the materials and everything. So that's really great. So to demonstrate the animations, we're going to have to add an animated component, and you can see here that we need to add a controller. So I'm just going to go over our controllers folder. I'm going to create an animation controller. So I'm just going to call this new animation controller. There's our new animation controller. If I double click on that, and what I can do, I can go over to our clairee folder and just drag these two animations in. So we've got like the walk, and we've got the run. So and how about we connect these two together? There we go. Then and that's going to allow us to see that both our animations are working when we sort of demo this. So that's great. So we've got our camera right in front of our character, so we can make sure that's all working. And the last thing to do, we just got to get there's our new animation controller, and we've got to put that into this the controller slot, and that's pretty much it. So if I press play now, this shows us that we've successfully exported our two animations. So that's what our export manager has done for us. It's allowed us to take our character from Maya into this the game engine to Unity, and it's made it really simple. There's been no file browsing. There's no manual naming of the assets. It's all handled automatically, and that's what a solid export manager should do. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time for more tech art craziness.